Well, hello and welcome to my review of the Mora 2000. Now, the Mora 2000 started the larger bladed dramatic grind survival blade group of knives currently running off the line for the 2010 lineup. You have the Blaze Orange version, the 2010 version, and the several Bushcraft line versions, all sporting the same blade with a mix of different sheaths and handles. Now, everything about the 2000 makes me want to say no thanks from a dedicated survival knife perspective. That crazy sideways grind removes metal from the point, which is a vital strength spot in my book for a survival blade, and the tang stops about 2/3 of the way down into the handle, which also causes overall strength loss. The blade stock at its thickest point is roughly 1/10 of an inch, give or take, preventing prying, digging, poking, and general abuse that a survival blade should be able to take in a limited capacity. But therein lies its strength. The 2000 cuts like a laser beam because of that thin blade stock. It weighs less than 5 ounces with the sheath included, and weight's a huge factor in any survival knife. And the tang is deep enough for the size of the knife to play into the strength of the design while continuing the trend of reducing weight. Now, the final advantage to this approach is cost. The 2000 runs about $30, and for a knife of this caliber, that's a steal, plain and simple. The overall approach of the 2000 sheds bulk and toughness in favor of a low-weight, high-speed cutting machine. It's a flyweight survival cutter, and it'll do well in its role.
Alright, well, I figured I'd come out into my backyard a little bit and compete with the cicadas to talk a little bit about the Mora 2000. Now, the Mora 2000 falls right into a group of knives that I'm not really too wild about. I like to classify knives in three different size groups. The first one would be the 7-inch or better, blade speaking, the Forts and Fires knives, the big ones, the ones that you'd use to make shelter and to prepare wood and process wood for a fire. Then you have like the sub 4-inch blade group, and that would be the butchering and bushcraft group, where you'd use that to butcher small and large game. And then in addition to that, you could use that to do bushcraft tasks and maybe do a little super light batoning and get some kindling ready for a fire, that type of thing. And the Mora knife, the Mora 2000 here, falls directly into the middle category, the dedicated survival knife style. That's too big to do little stuff and too little to do the big stuff. Generally speaking, the Mora 2000 here does a little bit better at the butchering and bushcraft stuff because of that dramatic grind on the side there and the thinness of the blade stock. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in the rest of the video. I don't want to get too detailed here, but yeah, everything about it screams that I shouldn't like it. But I do. It works well, and I'll address that a little more in the rest of the video. But I wanted to roll in some movie here, and rather than just a slideshow. So there you go.
Now, the 2000 sports a 4.5-inch by 1-inch stainless 12C27 blade attached to a hard plastic handle with a rubberized textured surface to provide a really good purchase. Now, there's no dedicated finger guard, which is another teeth gritter for a survival knife, but the grip flares on both ends to prevent your hand from sliding up the blade. Now, some guys poo-poo a finger guard, but I was very lucky some time back, and I'm a firm believer in handle designs that provide flares or guards on Scandinavian knives. Now, the sheath is the normal bag of Army men plastic, but it is deeper than most, and it has a leather belt loop that actually works. The drain hole's a winner as well, and it's very common stuff for Mora sheaths. And there you can see the name branding there. And the drain holes. Application is survival. Surprise! No, really, this knife goes fine in this role as a lightweight contender as long as you don't expect to be able to abuse it as if it were a heavier machine. Remember, this thing trades strength for weight and cutting power, so treat it accordingly. I wouldn't be batoning through anything much thicker than that. Well, the Mora 2000 is a wholly different approach to a dedicated survival blade. It's lightweight and razor sharp, but it's large enough for light batoning and forts and fires applications in a limited role. It can't hold a candle to the heavy-duty choppers, but that's not the point. So take it out and see what it can do. You might be surprised it even changed your approach to low-load hiking or outdoor survival. So, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll try and keep them coming.